Hello everyone, this is Mr. Brain Junkie here, and today we're going to be talking about a science fiction film called Source Code. Be ready for some spoilers ahead. A train is on its way to its next stop, and our main character wakes up as one of the passengers. He feels something is wrong and gets agitated by every little details. The woman sitting across wonders if something is wrong while calling him Sean. She's surprised when the man sitting in front of her denies being Sean and maintains that his name is Captain Stevens, a helicopter pilot in the US military. He also doesn't know who the woman is and what he's doing on this train. They arrive at a stop and he proceeds to find out where he is. He sees a teenager pick up a wallet which a man has dropped and returns it to him. Stevens asks the teenager where they are, to which he replies that they're in Chicago. He sees a reflection of himself in the bathroom and is shocked when another man's face appears. The woman finds him coming out of the bathroom and tries to comfort him while Stevens is freaking out. Another oncoming train passes by and an explosion kills everyone. Stevens wakes up strapped in the pilot's seat and hears a woman's voice on the screen in front of him. She wants him to recall her name, but he has trouble remembering. The woman recites a series of passages and shows him patterns of poker cards in order to help Stevens' memories. He struggles for a moment, but eventually remembers her name as Goodwin. He also sees another man with crutches who types something in the computer and leaves. Stevens wants to speak to his father and be debriefed about his mission, but the woman only cares about the bomb and the identity of the bomber. She tells the captain that he has 8 minutes to find the bomb and proceeds to send him back to where he woke up in the train. Stevens notices that things are very similar but different as he can change the outcomes knowing what happened before. He begins questioning people who look suspicious and goes after Russell Peters, but the woman assures Stevens that he's only a comedian. He remembers the direction which the explosion came from and begins searching in the bathroom. He opens the air vents and finds the bomb right on top of it. Not knowing what to do, Stevens tries to ask Goodwin for help, but hears no response, so he decides to not let the bomb explode prematurely by touching it. He pretends to be a government agent and tells everyone on the train to shut down their phones, but no one believes him. The oncoming train passes them by and the explosion happens once again. Stevens tells Goodwin that he found the bomb on top of the train's bathroom, but he demands to know what exactly is happening to him. Goodwin asks permission from the man with the crutches and tells Steven that what he experienced is a past event that occurred this morning. He takes the perspective of the man named Sean and must find out about the identity of the bomber because this was only the first attack in the series. She tells the captain to focus on the mission while everything else is irrelevant, and puts Stevens back in the train again. This time he tries to get to know the woman a little more, and finds out that her name is Christina and that they're supposed to have coffee together. He tells her to play a game where they try to make out who looks the most suspicious on the train. Stevens notices a man that looks unwell who walked out of the bathroom where the bomb is, and decides to follow him off the train. He tries to save Christina as well by convincing her to follow, using his male hormones as a weapon. They leave the train and Stevens tells Christina to wait outside while he follows the man and sits down beside him. He assaults the man and grabs his suitcase, tearing it apart looking for the phone, but finds nothing. The explosion happens again and he continues to search for the phone, but gets kicked on the train rail and ran over. Stevens wakes up in his capsule, but this time it's freezing inside. He tries to speak to Goodwin, but no one answers. On the other side, Goodwin sees some abnormalities with Stevens' vitals and is trying her best to reconnect with him. Stevens manages to restart the capsule's wirings and heat begins to enter from the vents. He fixes the screens as well and hears the man in crutches speaking to him. The man is actually the scientist behind this program and tells Stevens that what he experienced was a parallel universe similar to our own. Whatever he does over there cannot change what happens in this universe, but it can provide clues such as the identity of the bomber. They require this information to prevent more devastating attacks which will happen in downtown Chicago if they don't catch the bomber in time. Goodwin tells Stevens that there is a gun in the strong box on the train and he should use it to find the bomber. He goes back to the train and tries to break in the security office, but gets tasered and handcuffed. In his last moment with this version of Christina, he tells her about how he regrets the fight with his father before his last tour in Afghanistan. She tells him everything will be okay before the train blows up once again. He returns to the capsule and wants to know more about this program and whether if Goodwin has participated in it before. She tells Stevens that she's incompatible and that only a selected few can do what he does, which makes Steven even more suspicious about the truth. Goodwin reminds him to focus on the mission and that he's running out of time. Steven sees an acronym on her uniform before Goodwin sends him back again. Instead of looking for the bomb, Stevens asks Christina to do an internet search about his name, and he proceeds to search online about Goodwin's division using the acronym on her uniform. What Christina tells him next shocks him a great deal, as the website shows that Captain Stevens died 2 months ago. His reality begins collapsing as he starts recollecting memories about how he died during combat. He asks Goodwin whether if he is truly dead, to which she says that only part of his brain is still alive. She clearly shows signs of sympathy as one soldier to another for Stevens' predicament, but the scientist clearly doesn't share her sentiments. The scientist promises to end Stevens' life after the completion of the mission, but tells Goodwin to not give him any more rest periods between sessions. Stevens goes back repeatedly but fails to find the bomber each time. Just before he's about to give up, the scientist plays his father's recording during his funeral, which motivates Stevens to try one more time. He realizes that the bomb is connected to cell phones acting as detonators and unplugs one of them. He calls back on its last number to find who the bomber is. Although he first thought it was a student on the train, but soon realizes that the man who dropped the wallet also picked up the phone as he called. The teenager gives the wallet back to the man, but he goes to another door and drops it off again. This time, Stevens takes it and finds out that the person's name is Derek Frost. He jumps off the train and chases after the man who is just about to leave on a white van. Stevens points a gun at the man, but he denies any involvement with the bomb. Stevens shows him the wallet which he dropped twice on purpose so that the police can identify him as dead and not a suspect after the explosion. He smiles and proceeds to show him the bomb which he created and plans to use to blow up Chicago downtown. He tells Stevens that the world is hell and requires a reset to make it better. The captain gets distracted when he sees that Christina has followed him off the train, and both of them get shot by the terrorist. Interestingly, the train still explodes. Stevens returns and informs Goodwin about the identity of the bomber. With this information, the police are able to capture him before he can do any more damage. Stevens wants the scientist to send him back once more, as he wants to save everyone on that train. The scientist refuses as he continues to tell Stevens that everyone died already. While everybody is celebrating the success of this program, Stevens convinces Goodwin to send him back once again, as he believes that the people on the train are real. He goes back to the train, and this time he takes out all the cell phone detonators from the bomb. He steals the handcuffs from the security officer and handcuffs the bomber to the train, effectively avoiding the explosion while putting the terrorist in prison. He then calls his father and finds out that despite their fight before his departure, his father has always been proud of his son and loves him very much. Stevens is overjoyed as he tells his father that he loves him as well. He then spends his last moments with Christina, sharing a kiss with her while his time runs out. It turns out that the scientist never intended to let Stevens rest and plans to create more programs similar to this. However, Goodwin decides to end Stevens' life, disobeying the orders from the scientist, as she believes that Stevens has earned his rest. As the moment seems to stop from Stevens' perspective, he's shocked that it actually continues and he still exists with Christina in his arms. His consciousness now resides with Sean in this universe, and he sends a message to this version of Goodwin, informing her that their project has actually created other universes. He asks her to take care of the Captain Stevens in this universe and tell him that everything will be alright. So what do you guys think about this movie? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like my video, please press like and subscribe for more. I'll see you guys next time.